Hi guys, this is Cousin Crafter. Welcome. Hi guys, how you doing? Hi everybody. Hey. Okay. So today we are doing something different today, and I wanted to share something different. Yes, I still do dolls. Still waiting for Georgia for the Series 3, Rainbow High Series 3 to get here. It should be here today. But disclaimer, if this is bothering you, I'm sorry, but I got the cooler on over here going on, and my lighting's kind of off. I'm using a photography lamp. Yes, I can't get the ring light right now, but until then, I gotta do what I can. Sorry, I was eating cake. We are doing something different. Now, I've been doing this for a while, and I just started back doing it. So, what I'm doing is I'm going back to making blankets. Now, if you guys know how to make fleece blankets, there's different ways that you could do fleece blankets. You could do the tie. So, I'm going to show you. I have the fall color blanket. So, I have the solid color orange. And I'm doing this for my husband because he likes football. And I got the football. So what I'm doing, because I have, so what we're going to do is, I already, put the good side to the good side. So this is the soft side. This is the plain side. And then here is the soft side. So I already put the two good sides together. This is the good side. So I put these together, and what I'm doing is lining the blanket up to where I'm going to hand sew it. Now, for those who know me, I was always taught by my grandma how to hand stitch because they last longer. So what I'm doing is taking the two edges here, and I'm going to make sure that they're together, and I'm going to stitch the whole bottom. So I'm using this type of threading, and I have my big needle. Now, if you have children and you want to teach them that, the reason how you can teach them is you could cut the edges in those two different ways. The reason why I do it sewing it by hand is because I could make sure that it's going to last for a long time, and all the blankets that I have did last for a very long time by me doing it by hand. I did have a machine, but I sold my machine, and it was just too much hassle. So this is just like something like I could take my time on, and I could do it while watching TV. So this is another craft thing that I do. So when I'm not playing with the dolls, or that I'm not playing with or doing unboxings and stuff, this is another thing. And I'm still doing a diamond painting as well. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, she got dolls. Is this a doll show? Is this a diamond painting show? What is it? Okay, this is an everything show. The reason why I'm doing everything, because I'm showing all my craft abilities that I could do. So everybody, so pretty much I'm putting the thread inside this small big needle. I don't know if my phone can fit it, but that's a big needle. This is the big one. This was $1. It's called Daillian Fabricfor. It's right there on 9th Street. If you're there in my local area, it's a fabric house called Daillian. 9th and Waterman. They've been there for years, and I've been going up there for a long time. This fabric, the solid fabric, was $4 a yard, and I had to do at least 3.5 yards just to make a full size for a full size bed. I had to do 3.5 yards to make sure that I had enough for the thing, for my blanket. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just going to tie this in, tie it, take it around, tie it, and I'm just tying it in so it won't go through the fabric. Now, Usually I do fabrics, I do baby blankets. And I'm going to show you, after I finish this one, I'm going to go back and get more of the fabric so I can show you different ways that you could do your fleece blanket. Now some people do the normal tie blanket. They like to tie their blanket and have their blankets tied, and they like to cut it so they can tie it. I mean, that's like if you're going to do a baby blanket, but pretty much those are going to keep on coming loose, and you're going to have to keep on tying them. This is why I do it when I have, especially when you have boys and you got sons and you got a husband, you need to make sure that they stuff gonna last long, because trust me, yeah, they stuff don't last long. So what I'm doing, I'm going to start from the edge here, and I'm going to go through the needle, because this fleece is very, very thick. And the reason why I got the big thick one is because I wanted to make sure, I think I put too much yarn. And you don't want to have, you don't have to have your yarn as long as mine is, because you don't want to do that because it gets tangled. So you want to make sure that way you don't have to worry about. Sorry, I'm using my teeth, but yeah, I did that. I had to use my teeth on it. It's gonna be my husband's anyway, so it ain't going to nobody. I wouldn't do that with nobody else in blanket, but it's just that, hey, right now I don't feel like getting up and getting no scissors. so what I'm doing is just making sure that the thread is on there, and I'm just gonna go and lap it. When I mean lap it, I'm just gonna go straight through to the ends and lap it, because I'm gonna tell you, this fabric is thick, and you have to make sure that you have enough to lap it. So I'm just going around and about, because I want to make sure that there's no seams or nothing going out. So I'm just going around and about, and I'm just going to lap it over. So, well, that takes a long time. Yeah, it takes a long time, but I like to make sure that my blankets last for a long time and that they're not going to come loose. So I'm just, right now, I'm just going around, taking it around like this, and I'm just going over it. Now, some fabric places like Daillian's, they could do it for you. I just like doing it myself because I could see what's going, and I could make sure that it's not going to come loose, especially when I wash it. Because the many times that, you know, young men have a blanket seat. So if you can see, I'm just going around the top of it, and I'm going to go take it over. I'm taking it in, and this is very thick. And this is why I always get these big, thick ones, because this is a very thick fabric, especially when you're putting two thick fabrics together, and it's going around. Now, some of y'all that sews, I am not a professional sewer. I'm just doing what I can and what's best for me. So don't come at me yelling at me about me sewing. I'm doing it hand stitched. And pretty much every blanket that I have done and sewed lasts a long time. I haven't had no complaints. I do from, like I said, like I was saying, I do from infants to California king size blankets to friends and families and stuff like that. But some people like it tied, where you cut this, like you cut down, you can cut the fabric, like you do is cut a small square, and then you individually cut this scrap fabric to about that much, so it'll be like a cut down, and then you just tie the two ends. That's a faster way if you don't want to sit here all day and just sew. But I'm gonna sew this, and as you see, and I'm gonna show you a little bit. So this is another path. See how that is? See how this part is right here? That's tight. That's tight, and you can't see the stitching. You can't see the stitching because this is going to be tight. This is going to be really tight. So I'm going to keep on going until I have it to where, and you can't see the threading, you can't see the stitching from it. I'm going to keep going until this whole side, and this is the whole blanket. Let me show you. I'm going to go back a little bit so you can see. This is all my blanket. This blanket, all this, I'm sewing this whole thing. So it goes all the way. So I'm going to review. So as you can see, this is the blanket. It's wrapped up down here. This is a big, gigantic blanket. Yeah, see? That's a big blanket. That's how much blanket I'm sewing. So that's what I'm doing. Okay? So as I'm doing this blanket and thread, that's what I said, I always have to make sure that I have a lot of thread. I should have bought 2 of this, but for my husband, he likes it sewn, so I'm going to do that. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just sewing this ends, just going back around it, sewing it, doing the blanket, and I enjoy doing this. I will be going back selling my blankets. I don't know when, but I just got to do. I used to do blankets, and I would do some for the homeless and give it out, and just keep a blanket, make one, keep a blanket in my car, my trunk, in the plastic bag, and I would make one. And if I see somebody out there cold, we were passing them out, and I would just randomly just go and make blankets, and made pretty good money off of it. So now I'm back doing it again because this is the cold season, and after a while you have the same blanket. After a while you be like, okay, I need another blanket. And with fleece blanket, they get very, very hot, especially when you have the double fleece blanket. They get very, very hot in the winter, because sometimes in the winter I would have to throw my blanket off because it gets super hot. They hold a lot of heat, and that's what, while I was doing it, I was mostly doing it for my boys and my husband and family and friends. But now I'm like, okay, it's getting to that season. People are going to be like, okay, I need a blanket. I didn't charge that much for California king size. I think I charged, because it was personalized, and I had took one of their flags, or for their church flag or Bible scriptures, and I drew, because for them to have it airbrushed on it, it was going to cost an extra $100, so it would have been like $280. So pretty much what I did, I took something that they already had, and I sewed their banner on top of their blanket, and charged them like $180 for it. Because for $280 for to have somebody else airbrush something on there, they were gonna charge me to airbrush. So you gotta pay other people to do other jobs that you need. So I told them, like, well, that's gonna be an extra $2, and they didn't want to spend that much. So I pretty much just, like, if you have like say like you have a picture on a sheet, or you have something that you want to, that could be sewn on the front of the blanket, then I can do that with the material. So I just charge them for the material and my time sewing it and adding on. That's it. So that $150 for that California king size, yeah, they still have it till this day. I haven't taken pictures of the ones that I had, because I did like the Dallas Cowboys. Like, I did my son's birthday. I did their favorite football team and their favorite color. And back then I would do like full size, and then I would do California king size or do a queen size. So whatever size bed that they had, I would do that for them. I'm going back doing it again for my boys again, so they'll have a blanket and do it like that. So as you see, I got this part. Just talking to you, I got this part. I'm not even halfway there yet. It's like this whole side. It's like down here. It's all down. This whole blanket. This blanket covers like a whole full couch, pretty much. But this is going on a full size bed. I have to make sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm just making sure that this is right. Okay. But sometimes you gotta make sure that your stuff is right too, because you don't want no fabric showing when you go up in there. So when you're like sewing your needle. So pretty much that's how much that I got. And this is by talking to you. See, so as you see, this is what's going on. There's a little showing, but I'm still gonna go back through it again. Another stitch. I'm gonna go back to it, and then make sure that there's no threading. Cause see, this is what's going on. I got a little threading showing, but I'm gonna go back through it again with another cross stitch, and I'm gonna go back over it that way. So that's pretty much how that I'm doing my blankets. This is just like for family members right now, but just to share with you what I'm doing and how I'm doing the blankets. Soul Keeper's coming up good. Yeah, the Soul Keeper he's coming up good, and I'll show you that like towards the bottom, but almost to the middle per se. So here, y'all just saw that. So I'm going to take this out. Yeah, take that out. I'm gonna go back into that. Okay, so pretty much that's how that's going. So I don't want to waste this yarn. I'm going to need every bit of yarn that you're going to need every bit of yarn that you're going to need on your needle. So you want to make sure that when you do this needle, that nothing gets in there. You're going to get it through there. See? This is one thing you have to make sure is when it goes through, you have to make sure that all this is not going to mess up your needle. Okay, I'm going to double stitch this real quick and make sure that this is double stitched. So I'm just going to go back where it was and double stitch this. I don't want this to, yeah. So all pretty much what I'm going to do is go back and double stitch it to make sure that there's no needles or nothing showing on here or on the blanket. So I'm just going to go back and double stitch. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want the blanket to come unraveled, or if they pull on it, it won't come unraveled or anything. So I'm just going back over to where I was and double stitch everything that's on here so I can have it double stitch. Okay, and that's pretty much what I do. I just go back over it, and it gets thick because this is a thick pin. Trying to get back in there. It's like literally this is a double stitch thing. Double stitch. So I'm just going back over just to make sure that this do not come back up when I move. And pretty much that's all I'm doing. Okay, hold on, y'all.